Eat, Drink, DFW from the Dallas Morning News is made possible by Central Market.
Hey, North Texas food fans, it's time for another episode of Eat, Drink, DFW from the Dallas Morning News. Every week, our food staff loves to dig into the local restaurant scene, talk about food and drink trends, and those things that make North Texas, North Texas. This is Anna Butler. I'm the News' food and events editor, and this week we're answering some questions from none other than you, our listeners. So stick around, you won't want to miss this.
Central Market is really into food, like fish flown in so fresh it still has jet lag into food. Our sourdough starter has been around since grunge was a thing into food. We're talking more prime cuts than a greatest hits album into food. Central Market is really into food. If you are too, then we're the HQ for you, whether you're a make every recipe in the cookbook foodie or a my favorite recipe is reheat type who just digs the delectable. No place makes every day more delicious like Central Market. Really into food. Shop now at centralmarket.com.
For the latest food and restaurant news, visit dallasnews.com/food. And we'd love to hear from you. If you have any food questions, a need for restaurant ideas, or just want to chat with the Dallas Morning News food team, email us at eatdrink@dallasnews.com. Today, I am joined by our food writers, Claire Baller, Sarah Blaskovich, and Imelda Garcia. We're going to answer some questions from our listeners, but first, I think we need to catch up a little bit about Thanksgiving. How did it go? Who cooked something?
I can start with my sad experience.
Oh no.
Yeah, so my wife had surgery 1 week before Thanksgiving, and I got the flu on Thanksgiving.
Oh,
so
that's
it was
sad.
Yeah, it was sad and very, very painful, but I'm okay now.
Did you eat on Thanksgiving despite the flu?
Caldito de pollo, just chicken soup, and that was it.
No turkey tamales.
No turkey, nothing. I'm glad we are better now. I'm thankful for that.
Me too, Imelda. We cooked a lot at my house. We host most years, but we didn't make the turkey this year. Uncle Ken smoked the turkey at his house. And so we made a whole bunch of sides and had about 20 family members around, including a ton of little kids, which I love.
Did you end up making rolls?
I'm so glad you asked. Yes, I tried 2 different long, complicated recipes to make rolls. One was a play on a Japanese milk bun. Another was like a sour cream and onion chive Parker House roll kind of thing. I thought both were fine, not bad, but nothing worth 4, 5, 6 hours. So I did what you guys suggested, and I bought Sister Schubert's rolls. And we had 20 people and 20 rolls. We had 10 rolls left over, which means that at least 50% of our guests didn't want a roll at all. I got one because I thought I was supposed to. And you guys, I think it's that I don't like rolls. I don't like those. They're too flat. They didn't spring up like a Parker House roll. Now, they didn't promise to, but they were just tiny little yeast pillows. And I need more from that. So there's no more rolls at my house for Thanksgiving, and I'm not sad.
So it's not enough for you that it's just a vessel to eat butter, because that's enough for me.
It's not, and I love butter. I'd almost rather eat butter on its own.
I do that. I'm just kidding. Not anymore. This is like family lore, but my first word was butter.
No.
Which my linguistics professor in college, may he rest in peace, Dean Hamilton, was like, that is impossible because it involves a glottal stop, which is when your like esophageal flaps.
I was just going to say 2 syllables, but the glottal stop, sure.
Yeah, but that's the 2-syllable part of it. It's like if there's 2 syllables, your glottal has to stop.
Somebody Google that.
So my husband's family, there's several medical professionals who all work on the holidays. So Thanksgiving happened for us days before it happened for most people.
Oh, how interesting.
And so on Thursday, it was like, we're not going to cook anything. And I was like, great, easy day. I'm going to make 3 pies.
Okay.
Didn't really set out for that, but I just kind of followed my heart, and it led me to Julia Child's chicken tarragon pot pies. And then I was like, well, I have to make an apple pie.
Okay.
So I made 2 chicken pot pies, an apple pie, and then I was like, I need something vegetable. So I made a niçoise salad and was in the kitchen for hours.
Yeah.
It was fun though.
What could be more American than a French Thanksgiving?
It was pretty French and it was great. I haven't made those pot pies in a while, but they used to be a regular go-to for me and I adore them. It's a Julia Child recipe and they're pretty easy, especially when you buy store-bought pie dough, which I did.
That's what I ended up doing last night is I ended up with the extra smoked turkey. Yes.
Congratulations.
Was from Luby's. I never get the leftovers in our
Hold
family.
on. I know
ever.
you said Luby's last time, but I didn't fully wrap my mind around it. No one actually makes the turkey. You just buy it.
We don't like turkey, so we get a lot of different kinds
is that why you
of
got
meat.
the leftovers?
Yeah, but it's like smoked turkey is just deli meat. You know?
True.
Or barbecue.
But I made the Julia Child chicken pot pie, but with turkey. So it was turkey pot pie, used the carcass, made the whole whole
Ooh.
damn thing from front to end with like the turkey broth. But you know,
you both made pot pies.
I made it
guess
with
so.
leftovers.
It's great.
Yeah.
We didn't have enough Thanksgiving food or felt like we hadn't eaten enough. So then my brother-in-law was like, you know what I should do? I should smoke an 18-pound brisket. So that's what we did on Friday. And then the next day we were like back for more after seeing Wicked. I was really hungry after that movie. I think it's the color palette.
Maybe.
That's so funny.
It reminds me of Easter, which says candy.
Yeah, it says candy to me too. It kind of says Wonka.
Okay, is there anything that y'all would just cut off of your Thanksgiving meal in the future? Sarah,
I would not do rolls, and now I know that my family won't be mad about it either. Also, confession, we didn't have dressing or stuffing this year because it was on my list to do, if anybody's, and I don't love it. But there was, of course, the upscale green bean supreme, which
what
is our...
is an upscale green bean supreme?
So it's like a green bean casserole that's like made with real ingredients. So instead of like the canned green bean, there's like real green beans and macaroni and cheese, mashed potatoes and gravy, ham and turkey. I would add more appetizers. Everyone shows up to the house hungry, and we had 4 or 5 appetizers, but I would add more. Those are always a hit.
Sarah, I'm not surprised that stuffing was not part of your lineup, considering your bread relationship.
Yeah.
But I have to say that is my favorite Thanksgiving food. And it is the thing that I'm requested to make specifically by friends and family. I make a sourdough stuffing with Italian fennel sausage in it and toasted pine nuts. So it's like kind of an Italian take on stuffing. I think I could have just that for Thanksgiving food and be totally happy.
That sounds delicious, and I would love to try yours. I think the stuffing/dressing problem, and I know these are sort of 2 dishes that we're lumping together, but the problem is I haven't ever found any that I needed. And we don't seem to have the family recipe that like we can't live without. Because I don't come from like a serious food family, like a lot of the rest of you do, there was not the rubric for what had to go on the table. So when it's my table, it's like I can put whatever I want on it. And I sort of tossed out the idea, what about stuffing, what about dressing? And nobody really had any feelings. So we moved on. But I know that there will be some outrage from some of the readers, and I would love to hear from you if you can be nice about it.
Imelda, I feel like what your decision would be is that you wouldn't be sick next year for Thanksgiving.
Hopefully not. But you know what? I'm going to eat twice dinner on Christmas.
Yes.
Yes.
It's your favorite too.
Yeah, it's my favorite.
I think you have to make up for it. I think that's
I will.
important.
I will.
I really could care less about corn. It doesn't need to be there creamed or otherwise. I think it's disgusting. I like corn chips. I like processed corn things like corn tortillas, but like whole corn. Just think about this. And this is kind of gross. Your body can't break it down. And I would like to think that's for a reason. Anything that comes out the...
Nope.
No. Thank you very much.
We know.
Yeah, we know.
All I'm saying is maybe we shouldn't be eating it.
Oh, I strong disagree. We moved from corn casserole this year to elotes. My husband made them with like all kinds of spice. You could sprinkle cotija on top. It was perfect.
The best thing that I can do with corn, and I learned this as a child, was to put it on my front teeth to make it look like I had yellow front teeth. Just slip them right on. And that was when corn had reached its max.
Oh no.
For me.
Really?
That was it.
I never saw corn in a Thanksgiving lineup until I moved to Texas. That is just like not a thing
Is
that
that
I ever
right?
experienced. So I agree. I don't think it belongs on a Thanksgiving table. I think it's welcomed if it wants to be there, but like, does it need to be? I don't think so. I lived successfully my whole life without it.
I'm not going to die on this hill because I don't have to have corn on the table, but I do like it. But also in the picture of the cornucopia cartoon in my mind, isn't there like corn?
It was definitely part of the first Thanksgiving.
Yeah, true.
If we're going to go historical.
I'm not here to defend the first Thanksgiving either, but yeah, I did think that it was traditional. Claire, this is kind of blowing my mind.
I know. I didn't really realize that till just now, that was just not a thing. And maybe that's totally just like family preference. I honestly would say just double stuffing. Like I could go with more stuffing. I made a double batch this year for Friendsgiving, which I hosted, and it wasn't enough. You know, I had a moment the other day where I realized I could make it any time for myself. I've never done that.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
This is a great point. It
Stuff-
reminds
Wow.
Stuffing on a Saturday.
it's a casserole.
Right. Maybe I'll make it this week.
Oh my God,
see.
This is rebellion, huh?
Yeah.
Feels very
that.
rebellious.
Yeah.
Julie has her hand up.
Okay, I just have to call this out. The fancy green bean casserole. I'm actually having to make a green bean casserole tonight because my sister-in-law fancied it up the way Sarah did, to the outrage of my 17-year-old daughter. She was like, why? Why do we do this? Like, it's supposed to come out of the can. It's kind of like the canned cranberry sauce. So I would like to see less of taking traditional things and making them fancy.
I would say, though, that probably that came from something. Like, things weren't always mass canned that way. So that's like my thought with it is, it's like, are we reverting back to fancy Thanksgiving? I don't know. I don't know if I care that much, frankly.
You will when you have a 17-year-old who is sitting there pouting at the table because there is fancy green beans.
And I would tell you, though, that I pouted this year because for some godforsaken reason, all we had was cranberry sauce with full cranberries in it. And all I want is just the jellied circular or cylindrical mound of nothing. I want Jell-O.
You like gelatinized cranberry, not a like quote unquote cranberry salsa.
I like a virgin Jell-O shot.
Okay.
Can we call out who brought the wrong cranberry? I do know people who love the gelatinous cranberry, and they are the ones who, like, in their jacket pocket show up with the can in it just in case they need it.
I mean, I'm not going to name names. It's just like my whole family.
It's just all of them, and there are a lot of them.
There's a lot of them, and I don't even remember their names. There's so many of them. Well, if you have any hot Thanksgiving takes of your own, we would love to hear from you. Email us at eatdrink@dallasnews.com, and we'll be back to answer more listener questions after this.
Central Market is really into food. Like when we say cheese, it's in 12 languages into food. Butchers, bakers, and sushi roll makers into food. We're talking so obsessive about quality you can shop blindfolded into food. Central Market is really into food. If you are too, then let us turn your shopping list into a treasure map. Get inspired, get adventurous, or just get a chef-made dinner when you've got more taste buds than time. No place makes every meal more amazing like Central Market. Really into food. Shop now at centralmarket.com.
A really common question we've received from listeners and readers, and really just people we talk to in Dallas, is where you can find a quiet restaurant in North Texas. Sarah, you put together a story on this that you can find at dallasnews.com/food. So why did it make sense for you to write this story right now?
It just seemed like such a busy season. And I thought, what do people need right now? Maybe they need a little bit of quiet, a little bit of calm. And this story idea came about right before the presidential election. So life was super busy. But what happens after the presidential election? Well, we got straight into Michelin season. Then we went straight into Thanksgiving. Of course, now we're headed barreling toward holidays and New Year's Eve. And the one thing nobody talks about is how to be quiet in November and December. And I just thought maybe everybody needed a little bit of a break. Now, as you said, Anna, this comes up a lot with our readers. Where do I find a quiet restaurant? And the reason is because so many restaurants are loud. I think that the trendy new restaurants are destined to be loud. They are dressed to the nines. They may not be designed with acoustics in mind. They're designed to look fantastic. And that might mean high ceilings and lots of shiny fixtures where the noise bounces off. We do have tons of quiet restaurants in DFW if only you know where to look. And I had a really good time putting this story together because it's a mix of some of those classic restaurants like Cafe Pacific in Highland Park Village and the new Bar Colette in West Village, which is a beautifully designed place, but is also, the bartender said, quote, "I believe in a quiet bar." The idea behind this bar is really about flavor and about connection and not about yelling or spilling your beer, as you're trying to talk to the person next to you. So this list is just sort of an ode to the restaurants where you can actually hear your neighbor. And I think that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, and we focused on mainly places that you could grab dinner, maybe lunch. And a lot of these, I think there were a few where I think about a quiet place for a business breakfast a lot of the time. Having formerly covered real estate, I spent so much time at Flying Fish in Preston Center, and you cannot hear somebody ever at that restaurant. And so it's interesting, depending on the age of your source, where they want to go a lot of the time.
That's right.
And so it was trying to find those different places.
And sometimes you want to be just alone, like reading a book or something. And for that, like a sitting, half-price books, it's a great place.
For me, when I'm trying to find a place that's quiet, especially if I'm dining with in-laws or people who I know prefer a quieter space, usually I'm suggesting an earlier dinner time. And I love restaurants that have open concept layouts, that have an open kitchen. Those, though, generally are louder restaurants. The noise that's coming from the kitchen just kind of elevates the noise in the dining room, I find. But generally, for me, it means dining around 5:30 or 6 instead of 7:30 or 8.
When I think of quiet restaurants, or bars. I also think about categories. So a speakeasy, the right speakeasy can be quiet because it's often small, or like an omakase restaurant, which those tend to be small in size and in number of seats. And they tend to be sort of these reserved places where you want to be able to hear the chef in front of you. So we did a little bit of that too. I think of coffee shops with good food, like Imelda just mentioned, La Casita.
Speaking of coffee shops, I have to bring something up. Last week, over the course of 2 days, I worked at 4 different coffee shops, and I was struck by the etiquette or lack thereof of many people in coffee shop spaces these days. At every single place that I went, there were patrons who felt that it was totally fine to take a work Zoom call very loudly. Now, there's a big difference between like sitting across from someone, like Imelda, if you and I were at a coffee shop, sitting across from each other, having a conversation, the volume of that conversation is going to be different than if you're on the phone or on a Zoom call. People just shout for some reason when they're on Zoom calls or on the phone, and they don't realize it.
Now, were they wearing headphones?
Yes.
That was my question also.
Not speakerphone Zoom calls.
No, not speakerphone Zoom calls. Like my dad is one of these people. When he's on the phone, it's like, dear God, the person can hear you. We don't need to shout, right? Yeah. It was those kinds of conversations happening. At one coffee shop, a gentleman sat down directly across from me at a communal table, flipped open his laptop. We're sitting like very, very close to one another. There were also other places to sit, keep in mind, and just had the loudest conversation possible. And my quiet little hour of writing was just killed. It was like done. Yeah. But I shared this on social media on Instagram that I was just so surprised by how loud people were. And you guys, I had so many restaurant and coffee shop owners message me saying you wouldn't even believe the things that we see.
I bet.
Constantly. People have brought a desktop
Wow.
screen.
Yeah, I think you're right to think that coffee shops are not quiet places anymore.
And I heard from people who reached out to me sharing the same frustration and saying they noticed a very clear change from COVID.
Yeah.
And I would be curious to know, like, if restaurants have also gotten a little louder. Are we just like louder than we used to be, or is that a coffee shop thing? I don't know.
It's a good question.
We are going to go ahead and answer one more question from our readers. We take these through a form. It's our Ask, Eat, Drink DFW form that you can find at dallasnews.com/askeatdrink. And Claire is mainly the person that's corralling these. Claire, you also had one that kind of caught your eye.
We got a question recently from David, who lives in Dallas, and he said, with the holidays rapidly approaching, I'm regularly asked to recommend restaurants with private dining rooms, from intimate 10-seaters to those that can accommodate significantly large parties. While I have my tried and true list, I'm sure there are some I haven't thought of, and I'd love to know where y'all go for a great experience. I thought this was a great question. This is the time of year when people are often looking for restaurants that can accommodate a large party or do private dining, either for work events or large family gatherings. So I wanted to hear from you guys first. What places immediately come to mind that check this box?
There's a private dining room at Carbone in the Design District that seats approximately 10 to 12 people. And it's one of the most stunning rooms I've ever been in my entire life. What I would say that people need to keep in mind when they're thinking about something like this is most of the time there's a spending minimum that goes along with having these rooms. So there's a stunning one also at Perry's that overlooks Clyde Warren Park. So you'd see all the Christmas lights and everything like that in between. But there's stuff at the other end of the spectrum too. La Madeleine, Jimmy's Food Store. You can actually have private events at these that are a little bit lower cost a lot of the time.
I will say the Mexican. It has some beautiful rooms and the food is amazing. It's pretty expensive, but it's going to be a really great experience.
That's a really good suggestion, Imelda. Yeah. The Mexican just has tons of room. Like you could have a table for 6 or you could have a table for 60 and they could probably figure out how to do it. On my list, Beverly's on Fitzhugh. There's a whole back area, not even connected to the main dining room. It can seat 20 to 25 people or more if you want to do a stand-up cocktail party. And it's just really beautiful back there. Brass Ram in downtown Dallas is on the second floor of a historic Dallas building. When you walk in, there's I think it's the Marilyn Monroe room, and there's pictures all over the walls of famous people. And that can seat, I think 12 people or so. And of course, Brass Ram is Nick Badavinas's prime rib restaurant. The room is just very handsomely designed to where I think it would be good, especially if somebody else is paying, like corporate credit card kind of thing. And then over in Fort Worth, Don Artemio has a beautiful wine room. And we've all talked about Don Artemio in the past couple of months because we thought they should have been a Michelin contender. But they serve contemporary Mexican food in Fort Worth and is just a really wonderful place to try out.
To your point, steakhouses are always a good place to look. Every steakhouse I can think of here has some type of private dining space. Albernays, Nick and Sam's. That's where like the Cowboys and Mavs do all of their big group dining, is at Nick and Sam's. Another spot that has a really lovely private dining room is Georgie. I have not done a private dining experience at Knox Bistro, but I hear people recommend it often for that kind of thing. But Anna, your point is a very good one, that you kind of first think of these finer dining, fancier spots when you think of private dining rooms. But there are a lot of places that can accommodate and have dedicated space to accommodate such things. And I think it's always worth asking, like, if you have a favorite restaurant, call them up and see. Like, there might be a possibility to do a more intimate group experience that you might not have realized.
One perfect example, I think, to that, Claire, El Phoenix in the uptown, downtown Dallas area, they have a second story event space. And like, I know people who have had wedding receptions up there, but the thing about El Phoenix is it's historic Dallas Tex-Mex. So, you know, if you're looking for a place with just like food that everybody can afford and enjoy that really says Dallas, a steakhouse could be an opportunity, but a Tex-Mex place really could be too.
We would love to be able to answer more of your food questions, so feel free to email us anytime at eatdrink@dallasnews.com. To catch up on every episode of this show and hear more from our newsroom, just follow the Dallas Morning News wherever you get your podcasts. And if you like what you hear, please rate the show and leave a review. Find links to all of our work at dallasnews.com/listen. You'll also find a special membership offer there. For the news, I'm Anna Butler. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Eat, Drink, DFW from the Dallas Morning News is made possible by Central Market.